So welcome back, Elaine, to the Zoom room for another Something Go live session. Just do a very short one today, just an hour and a bit maybe. So let's jump straight into today's email. It's a quote, and that'll lead us into the lesson. And probably just have time to do the lesson and meditation lesson today. Okay, so I'm just going to share my screen. All right, if you can start off with reading that headline quote from Mark Twain, which is a lovely one.
Forgiveness is the fragrance the violet sheds on the heel that has crushed it.
Yeah, lovely quote from Mark Twain, the American author. Tells us exactly how we should respond to someone who's apparently trying to harm us. With forgiveness that restores our mind to a state of loving awareness, which is the fragrance we then shed on them. So this kind of forgiveness is the only kind that can do this is radical forgiveness, as Yeshua teaches in A Course in Miracles, because it denies that any harm really occurred to you. It's radical, and then it goes to the root of the problem. Radical comes from the Latin word radix, which means root. So radical just means, well, you're going to the root of the problem and you're solving it there, and you're uprooting the problem, like taking out a weed. And the root of the problem is your belief that separation is real, and then it simply denies it in all its forms, including attack and death. So the radical forgiveness simply says, none of this is true, none of this is real, don't believe in any of it. There's another kind of forgiveness. We've talked about this before, but I'll mention it again in this context. It's what I call halfway or compassion forgiveness, in which the person forgiving accepts the situation they're trying to forgive as real, and then tries to soften their judgment of it by having compassion for the perpetrators of any apparent wrongdoing. So you go, oh, well, this person is doing this to me, but maybe they had a tough life, they had an abusive upbringing, they've had trauma in their life, and so on. Perceive someone as physically or mentally abused you, but you attempt to soften your resentment towards them and feeling of being hurt by understanding that they did the best they could in the circumstances given their life experiences. So they may have been abused themselves, so have been conditioned to be abusive themselves, and so on. And that will help. It can soften your judgment, can bring in a less kind of condemnatory attitude in your mind, but it's still real in your mind. This is the problem. So the second approach is can be part of a process of radical forgiveness. It's not the outcome of your perception, but it can be helpful as a step in towards that. So that's why I've included as step 5 in the 10-step letting go process. Remember, step 5 is compassion. But it will not reveal the ultimate truth that only pure formless awareness of perfect love is real to you. Only radical forgiveness will do that, because radical forgiveness says none of it really happened. And then you really experience that. Not just an intellectual understanding, there's actually a feeling, a deep-seated feeling that goes with that when you really have practiced radical forgiveness. But to know this truth is true in your own experience, you must deny the existence of anything that is not pure formless awareness of perfect love. Only then will you see or perceive that the dream of form was fake all along. So nothing that seemed to happen and it really happened, and consequently only pure formless awareness of perfect love or oneness is real. And so you've done the 10-step process. You know how effective that is in 2 forms. Do you find that the written process is helpful, more helpful than just the normal one?
I think so, yeah, and I found it helpful going a little bit with it with yourself as well. It makes it a little bit more solid.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
But yeah, you have to learn to do it yourself, of course. But yeah, it does. It gives it a little bit more.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you can work through it in writing, the idea of working through it in writing is that you're able to really work through and process step by step. And so it makes you go through a process and spend the time on each process. So it slows it down. If you do it too quickly in your mind, you haven't actually had a chance to really go into that step and really reflect and feel. You know, some of the emotions have got to come up, and you need to feel them in order to let them go. So the written process just slows it all down, makes you take it step by step. You're going to spend at least half an hour on it, so it's that amount of time to it. And John has had a lot of success with that. He uses it a lot. So it's one of his regular. You know, he doesn't just do it every now and then. It's whenever he has an issue, he will go through the whole 10-step process and actually do it in writing. Otherwise, it doesn't work. Okay, so that should prepare you for the bonus video. Yeah, this came out of the COVID stuff. I really took it all out of this email. So I had a whole long spiel about it, but it's long gone. It's history now. But what was interesting about this talk, about half an hour into it, this medical doctor, who's quite a progressive medical doctor, is he talked about the 2 primary negative emotions that were fueling the pandemic, the COVID pandemic at the time: guilt and fear. And I thought he was right. You know, he was really insightful. He was talking about the media's constant barrage of COVID propaganda was really about engendering fear, number one. So you're going to, because you have this mindset of fear, you're then going to obey all of the regulations that are, you know, being imposed on you, wearing masks and vaccines and so on. And it was really primarily fear-based, but then there was also, and this was very insightful, there's also guilt. Because the guilt was, if you don't do this, then you're somehow letting the team down. You know, you're being irresponsible to the rest of people. You need to take your vaccine because otherwise there's not herd immunity. This was the story. And if you don't do that, then somehow, you know, you're compromising everyone else's health. That was the narrative, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And so there was a lot of guilt that people felt. I think a lot of people took the vaccine just because they felt guilty, not because they necessarily wanted to or believed in it. It's just like, well, I don't want to be perceived to be letting, you know, everyone else down. I remember, you know,
Yes.
I had an encounter with my hairdresser, and I was really not into masks, and she was, you know, so I was on a phone sitting in the waiting room, and obviously I can't speak with my mask on, so I took it off and I was having a chat. Well, she was glaring at me. She was like, you know, you need to have your mask on. And I'm like, just, you know, like, I said to her, I don't buy any of this stuff. Oh no, well, that's rules and regs, and you know, this is a company, and I could lose my job, and a huge fear involved. And really what she's trying to do was impose guilt and say, well, you know, you need to do this because if you don't, then you're potentially putting the rest of us at risk. And this is how then, you know, it becomes a double whammy. It's not just your own fear, but it's the guilt of then, you know, seemingly compromising others. So you have to look at that whole system of guilt and fear and see very clearly that that's ego. Only the ego believes in guilt and fear, and those are its the 2 primary emotions and weapons. And once you can see it clearly, then you can drop the delusion. You go, well, if it's coming from guilt and fear, it can't be right and it can't be real. So I can let it go. Now remember, when the this first restriction started happening, I felt this. It was because I was in a city at the time, in Johannesburg, a big city, and then everyone's like walking around in before masks had been imposed, but everyone was like, you could no, they'd said you have to wear masks. So you could just feel the fear. It was like this miasma of fear descending, and it was so weird. It's like very separated
I
and
remember.
separated.
Yes.
I was like, wow, I haven't felt this for a long, because I'm not a fearful person, but it was like the collective psyche sort of, this miasma of fear, and I could feel it.
But it
And
was
then I
just
was
in
like,
the air, wasn't it? Yeah.
yeah, it really was. It was, you could feel it. It was a
You
whole
could.
vibe descending. And if you emotionally sensitive, you can feel these things. So, I was like, okay, and they were about to lock the whole city down and, basically enforce house arrest. You couldn't go out of your house for a walk. It was bizarre. So I was like, okay, I'm out of here. I don't want to be here. And I left just before they imposed the lockdown, the day before I left. And I just went to the mountains for 2.5 months. Because, there, none of those, and it was, breathing literally the clear air. You can see why people go to these remote places, because you don't have all of that mind energy there. It was clear. There were very few people. It was a farm, sort of just half an hour out of a town and in the, pretty much the wild. So I could just walk out and go for a run, go for a walk on footpaths, lovely nature as well. And it was free. I felt like, okay, oh, thank goodness, I'm just feeling clear and free here, and able to able to then process. It was a kind of a dark night, a bit of a dark night of the soul, understanding what it is, what was happening, who was behind it, and then working through all that and letting it go. And at the point, I was like, well, what's the point of even, this world is just so dark. What's the point of even continuing? But you work through these emotions, and it was like almost I needed that space to go and do that. So yeah, in an interesting, very interesting chat. He talks about other things as well, but that particularly, and I think I started it at exactly at that time. So from 30 minutes, it gets very interesting.
And I have just been in there.
Yeah, okay, we don't want to hear about your trading, Mister. So yeah, so that goes to the point in the interview where he talks about it. So listen to that. I thought it was very insightful and helpful as well. Because I mean, the fear and the guilt haven't disappeared completely. They just lurk there in the undercurrent of society. So our job is to let those go no matter what. So to that end, let's do today's lesson. Got another mind training lesson from Yeshua. This lesson 46 we're on to do this, to practice letting go or forgiving. Okay, so let's go into this. Give me a moment. I'll just start the recording. Okay, so lesson 46, if you can read that, Elaine, in the original and the alternative beneath it.
God is the love in which I forgive. Pure Formless Awareness is the perfect love in which I let go.
Yeah, so again, this gives a different perspective on it, doesn't it? The second one is a bit more direct, pointing to the awareness that will actually help you to let it go. So pure formless awareness of perfect love is God, but I just shorten it to pure formless awareness. So in that pure formless awareness state, which is perfect love, I can let go of anything, because in that state, none of the ego's thoughts and emotions exist. That's all this is saying. Well, it should be self-evident, really. Yes, of course. In pure formless awareness, there is no fear, there is no guilt, there is no pain, suffering, misery, sickness, and death, and none of the ego's emotions and thoughts and self-concept don't exist in that awareness. So only in and by this awareness can you really forgive or let go. It's the fundamental awareness which forgiveness or letting go restores your mind to. And the more you let go, the more this awareness arises. So letting go becomes the means to achieve this awareness, to experience more and more of it, which is really all he's saying in this whole course, saying, you know, it's one way back to God with this awareness, and that's through forgiveness or radical letting go, radical forgiveness or letting go of every thought, feeling, and emotion that blocks that awareness. Those blocks are the ego or your separated self-concept, which then plays out in all the situations in your life and blocks, covers over this awareness. That's what the world is designed to do, to cover over this awareness very skillfully, so that you're not aware of it, so that you're only aware of the ego. When I had my sort of moment of satori after 9 days of meditation, I went into this awareness for a few minutes, and then came out of it. It was very, very clear to me that everything in this world was just a cover over that awareness. The world was the justification for the thoughts and emotions that covered that awareness. And I had done that to myself to cover that awareness deliberately. That was my responsibility. And I was devastated. I cried. It's like, well, how could I have done that? But I did recognize that no one had done it to me. I had done it to myself. That's the key recognition. Because if I've done it to myself, as hard as that is to accept, then I can also make another choice and I can stop doing it. Which is all Yeshua's saying to us. Look, stop doing this because it's not helping you. You'll never find happiness and peace and love and joy, what you really yearn for, by continuing to do that, to deny your source. All right, so let's go to number 1 then. Read that in the original and the alternative sentence by sentence, kindly.
God does not forgive because he has never condemned. Pure formless awareness of perfect love does not let go because it has never condemned. And there must be condemnation before forgiveness is necessary. And there must be condemnation before letting go is necessary. Forgiveness is the great need of this world, but that is because it is a world of illusions. Letting go is the great need of this world because it is a world of illusions. Those who forgive are thus releasing themselves from illusions, while those who withhold forgiveness are binding themselves to them. Therefore, those who let go are releasing themselves from illusions, while those who hold on to their negative thoughts and emotions are binding themselves to them. As you condemn only yourself, so do you forgive only yourself. As you condemn only yourself, so you release only yourself. Yeah. Read that again.
From the top, in the alternative.
Pure formless awareness of perfect love does not let go because it has never condemned. And there must be condemnation before letting go is necessary. Letting go is the great need of this world because it is a world of illusions. Therefore, those who let go are releasing themselves from illusions, while those who hold on to their negative thoughts and emotions are binding themselves to them. As you condemn only yourself, so you release only yourself.
Hmm. So what's he saying in that one?
Well, the perfect formless awareness doesn't need to let go because it's never condemned. And letting go is a great need of this world of illusions. So,
It's the only true need, isn't it? It's the one universal need. Every human being needs to let go to find their source again, to find who they are. So if you condemn yourself to the ego and to the pain and the misery and suffering and the sickness and the death and everything that the ego entails. And if you let go, then you free yourself. It's as simple as that, because you don't experience those things anymore. It should be self-evident. I mean, it's almost laughably simple, isn't it?
It is, yeah. But
yes, obviously, if you're condemning anyone, then what are you experiencing? You're experiencing condemnation, hatred, attack thoughts, all of that's going on in your mind, and you're experiencing those thoughts and emotions. So by definition, you're condemning yourself to a very limited, contracted state in that moment, aren't you? Because that's your experience.
Yeah.
When you let go of those thoughts and emotions, then you feel more expanded, cleaner, clearer, lighter. We use language, but we know how that feels. It's like, okay, I'm okay. Actually, I'm not all wound up inside, that turbulated state inside where it's
not nice, yeah.
And it feels very kind of limited and contracted.
Not
We call
nice,
that dark.
yeah.
We're trying to describe emotions, which is difficult, but it doesn't feel good, does it? It's like, turbulated inside. We all know that feeling. Whereas when you've let that go and there's just a clean, clear awareness, that's quite peaceful and quite happy. And that's all this is saying. Do you want to be all turbulated and wound up inside, or do you want to be clean and clear and peaceful and happy? You have a choice in every situation. If you condemn anyone, then you're going to feel turbulated, and you condemn yourself in that moment to that experience, which is why all attack is self-attack. You are in that moment attacking your own true self, which is the Christ, which knows that it is pure formless awareness of perfect love. You're denying that, and you're believing in this ball of rubbish, ball of false thought and emotion that just spins around and around, going nowhere. So you condemn yourself to that when you condemn anyone. And when you're willing to let go of your condemnation, then you release that whole ball, and the underlying awareness, which is peaceful, sort of restores itself. And that's a moment-by-moment decision. So it's so simple, really, isn't it? You're like, well, why don't we understand this? Surely should be self-evident. It should be obvious to everyone what you're doing. When you get into an upset state, when you're condemning anyone, when you're fearful, when you're angry, any of these emotions, you're condemning yourself to that state through your reaction to whoever or whatever is happening. So Yeshua's just saying, well, stop doing that. It's not helping you. You've got to stop reacting in this way. And you stop reacting this way by raising your understanding up above that battleground of the ego, saying, well, actually, none of this is true and none of this is real. There is another awareness that transcends this, that is higher or deeper than this. And that's who I really am. And that's what I'm always trying to experience in every situation. It's to stay rooted in that awareness is my job. That's my only real task in this world, which is why he says forgiveness is your only function here. Because it's to let go of all of the turbulated rubbish that the ego tries to concoct in your mind and restore your mind to that awareness. And as we know, this world is designed to trigger all of that rubbish to come up. So then the task becomes, well, as it comes up, I've got to let it go and restore my mind to its true awareness. And that's all we're doing. It's a very simple process. That's what this whole course is about. You boil it down to it. That's the one thing you've got to do. Letting go of forgiveness, and practice it over and over and over again. And that's the way out of the nightmare. All right, happy to go to number 2.
Yep. Is that in both? Or are they?
Yeah, because I'm translating quite a lot. There's God, but there's also forgiveness is translated as letting go.
Yeah. Yet, although God does not forgive, his love is nevertheless the basis of forgiveness. And yet, although pure formless awareness of perfect love does not let go, its love is nevertheless the basis of letting go. Fear condemns and love forgives. Fear condemns and love lets go. Forgiveness thus undoes what fear has produced, returning the mind to the awareness of God. So letting go undoes what fear has produced, returning the mind to pure formless awareness of perfect love. For this reason, forgiveness can truly be called salvation. For this reason, letting go can truly be called awakening. It is the means by which illusions disappear. It is the means by which illusions disappear.
Okay, from the top in the alternative.
Yet although pure formless awareness of perfect love does not let go, its love is nevertheless the basis of letting go. Fear condemns and love lets go. So letting go undoes what fear has produced, returning the mind to pure formless awareness of perfect love. For this reason, letting go can truly be called awakening. It is the means by which illusions disappear. It's just talking about forgiveness in the illusion, because by letting go, then we awaken and illusions disappear.
They do.
Mm-hmm.
This is the way. It's giving us, what I love about the Course is giving us one simple way. So this is what you've got to do. This is the way out. You must let go. And every spiritual practice and technique is just a means of letting go. See that? They're all, whether it's meditation or using breath work, or you're doing yoga, or you're doing EMA, or you're doing tapping, or you're doing Reiki. Really, all of it, if you look at it from the higher level, is about letting go of your ego. And if it does that, then it is a genuinely healing modality. And if it doesn't, then it's just fake and spurious, and it's not going to work. So the difference between magic and miraculous healing is magic doesn't really work. Magic reinforces the ego, whereas anything that's miraculous is actually about undoing the ego at its core. It's about letting go in the mind of this egoic entity, self-concept. And to the extent that it does that, it's healing. So the practices that have stood the test of time, meditation's been around thousands of years, breath work has been around thousands of years, yoga also. These have been helpful over those thousands of years to many, many people in letting go of their ego's self-concept and finding peace and love and joy within the dream world, which is why they work. So everything that you're doing, if you put together an integral transformative practice, and you're doing some yoga, and you're doing meditation, you're doing breath work, and you're doing practices like the 10-step process, and you're doing discussion sessions, it's all part of the way of letting go. It's all helping you to let go of this very heavy, dense ego construct in your mind and systematically unpick it. Generally, It doesn't go at once. It can, that's unusual, that it just all cracks open and it's gone overnight. Generally it's a slow undoing. You've spent many, many years building it and reinforcing this ego structure. So it's going to take years to undo it and just gradually shed it and start, letting go one illusion, one belief at a time. By always taking it back to and referencing to spirit, to this pure formless awareness or spirit state, going, okay, it's taking me back into that state, my original state, which is clear, clean, calm, empty, spacious, open, peaceful, light. You can use any words you want to describe it, but the letting go is taking me back to that state right now, not sometime in the future. It's always real time, right now, in the moment. That is the only real time, right now. And so you can do that at any point right now. This is what Yeshua's saying. So at any point, the peace of God, as it's called in the Bible, that surpasses all understanding, is available if you are just willing to let go right now of whatever's blocking that awareness. So it's ever present. It's right there. It's available in your experience right now and every moment on, through time into eternity. If you stay in the now of this state of pure formless awareness continuously, then you are enlightened. Then there's nothing else to do.
Yeah.
Is there?
You can do it through hobbies as well. If you're doing a bit of knitting or driving. I find when I'm driving, because you've got to concentrate on the road, so your mind can't just go wandering off all over the place. So then it's peaceful.
Yeah.
As long as you haven't got any road rage, but you know what I mean, yeah.
So these activities, because they calm our mind, we're not thinking as much with the ego. People enjoy them. We talked about ironing as well. Ironing, knitting, washing up. They're relaxing because you don't have to really think. You can just immerse yourself in the activity, be fully present, and that feels good because you are letting go in that moment of all of the ego's thought system and just accessing a state of clean, pure awareness. And that's what the flow state is. You're just in action. Flow is, it is actually an action. I'm driving, I'm cooking, I'm knitting, I'm ironing, I'm in a business meeting, I'm writing a proposal, whatever you're doing. But there's an underlying sense of it's all okay, and I'm at peace. I'm not lots of interpolated thoughts and emotions. I'm actually quite focused in one task in the moment. So, that's how this works. That's then being miracle minded and allowing this awareness to direct you.
I guess that's why they used to say hobbies are very important, because of this awakening awareness. But they didn't put it like that, obviously. But that's why they encourage it, because it's very good for the
They put you into a flow state. If you really enjoy something, you immerse yourself in that process, the ego drops away in that time, and there's just this kind of clean, clear awareness. You're in a flow state and it feels good. It feels happy, feels nice. And that's very good for your mental and emotional and physical well-being, to be in that state. So the more you stay in that state, the happier you are. And your mental and emotional state follows, the mental and emotional health. So if people have an activity or activities where they are in flow, then these are very helpful for their mental and emotional state, mental and emotional health. We know that from research. And if you don't have any of those things and you're just caught up in the ego's insane thinking all the time, then it's very destructive for your mental and emotional and physical health. So it's to build a system in your life of like, okay, well, how do I live in a way that helps me to let go of the ego? Continuously, progressively, systematically, I'm going to do this day by day, moment by moment. And if I've got a good system that helps me do that, then I will have as happy a life as I can. You know, that's that. But it's going to take some discipline, isn't it? You're not just going to snap your fingers overnight necessarily
Yeah.
and go, oh, I've got that system all sorted and I can really just let go and I can just live in, you know, the light of pure formless awareness. When we start and we're still very much in the ego with a process like this, then it's a process of learning. You've got to learn new ways of thinking, new patterns of behavior. You've got to learn some new skills to help you to, you know, put that system, that integral transformative system into place in your life and customize it for you. It's not going to be anyone else's program. It can obviously take common elements, you know, meditation, breath work, yoga. These are all tools that are available to everyone. They've been tried and tested over thousands of years, so you can use them. But how you use them is going to be different from how someone else uses them. And so it becomes, you know, your responsibility. And there's a lot of joy in that. So, hey, like I'm actually in charge here. I'm listening to the guidance, obviously, my own inner guide, and I have freedom to do this for myself and put together a system that works for me. Okay, how am I going to live in an enlightened way and do this in a way that's sustainable, that works for me, that I can, you know, I can carry on doing this day after day, week after week, month after month, and year after year. And it's your hero's journey to figure that out and put it together for yourself and then actually live it. Which is quite inspiring, I find. It's like, hey, I actually have a lot of power in this, and I can do this with the guidance of the Holy Spirit always. I can do this, and I can actually have a happy dream, as happy as it can be in an illusion. You know, I can have that experience, which, if I really learn my lesson, will be the last experience. This will be my last lifetime. If I really get it. So I say, well, go big and then go home. You know that saying, go big and go big or go home. It's like go big and then go home. You know, by going big, living this life to the full in the spirit, guided by the spirit, you will then go home. And that's the purpose of your life here. It's the only purpose. Yes, you're saying that's the only purpose of your life, is to facilitate your awakening, to learn the lessons you need to learn, to ultimately go home while you're here, to have a happy dream. There's no point in being unhappy while you're here. And therein lies your true purpose in life. The true purpose and meaning is just that. Don't try and make it meaningful in itself, because it's not. This is just learning, it's lessons, it's a school, it's transition, it's about the healing so that you never have to come back here. But while that's happening, you can enjoy the process and you can stay in this state of connectedness or flow pretty much all the time. If your mind is healed, you know, the enlightened state is to stay there all the time. Romana, Deborah sent me a quote earlier. I'm just actually send it out to the group, which was that you must, to be enlightened, you must get over the delusion of the fact that you're not enlightened, and the belief that you're not enlightened.
Interesting.
Yeah, very interesting, isn't it?
So you've got to get over the belief that you're not enlightened.
Yeah, because if you keep going, well, I'm not enlightened, then you're not. But right now, if you're in the correct state of mind, if you can enter into the now and you can find a state of peace in that moment, flow with things, then you're enlightened. In that moment, you're in the correct state of mind, and you can stay there.
Yeah, 100%. But there's nobody apart from Jesus who's reached 100%. Maybe Mara, what do you call?
We don't know. I think they probably have been others. I mean, Romana was very.
Romana, yes.
Yeah, he got it at 16, and he pretty much stayed there. He was in you know, samadhi.
Yeah. It's not
most
many
of his
though.
life.
Mother
So,
Teresa.
no, it's unusual, but really you don't have to do what Ramana, would just spend a very contemplative life, meditating. The idea of this, what Yesh was saying to us, look, I know that's not really feasible in modern Western society to do that. You'd have to withdraw from society. So I'm going to give you a teaching that helps you to live in the world, but not be of the world, and to use the world for what it's really for, which is to let go. And I'm going to teach you how to do that to a high level of skills so that whatever happens, you can let it go quickly and ultimately easily and restore your mind into this state of flow. And that's what his training course is designed to do. So it's very practical. It's designed for, the Western mind, for our modern society, because the course is only 50 years old. It was given in New York City when, the modern society was well underway, and Helen and Bill were very much caught up in that. And so it's an ancient teaching, non-dual teaching based on the same premises as Advaita Vedanta, but it's kind of updated into a modern version that's going to be helpful for everyone who's living in this illusory construct.
So is that little quote that Deborah sent on here? Because I quite like that one. Because I often keep saying that to myself. I'm not enlightened,
No,
which is a stupid.
I'll find it. I'll find it.
Yeah, because it's quite a useful little tip for us, ones that are lacking the confidence when you know only too well that it's just there. Yeah, so yeah, it's a good little quote.
Yeah. So it's the greatest obstacle to enlightenment, copy image, is getting past your delusion that you're not already enlightened.
Yeah, that's a good one because I can do that. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll post that to
the group.
Yes. All right. So shall we do a meditation?
Yeah.
And then, yeah, we'll probably have to end the session there. But I've got a recording. If you want to listen to the text, I've got a recording.
Oh yeah, I'll do that.
So I'll post. Okay, so there we go. All right. So let's dive into this, shall we? All right, so just making yourself comfortable. Sitting with your feet shoulder width apart. Go back straight, cup your hands in your lap, close your eyes. And we'll start off by taking a nice deep breath in through the nose. So breathing in, just noticing how the stomach rises and the chest rises. Subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. Just pausing at the top of the inhale. Clench your sphincter muscle to lock the energy in. Pull the energy up your spine into your heart center. Draw it on up into the crown of your head. Just pausing at the top of the inhale. Clenching your sphincter muscle to lock the energy in. Draw it up into your spine. So just repeat today's idea to yourself in the original and the alternative form. God is the love in which I forgive. Or pure formless awareness is the perfect love in which I let go. Pure formless awareness is the perfect love in which I let go. Now search your mind for anyone who still provokes negative thoughts and emotions in you. It does not matter how much this happens, you have let go of these entirely or not at all. So any little smidgen of anger, resentment, an attack thought, you might dismiss otherwise as minor irritation, any grievances, anything like that, just bring it to mind. Any fear of anyone, bring it to mind. Think of the person, think of the situation briefly. You shouldn't have much difficulty in finding a number of people you've not forgiven. In other words, you still trigger negative thoughts and emotions to arise in you. So say for all that anyone you don't like is a suitable subject. Mention each one by name and say, God is the love in which I forgive you, and then name the person. Or an alternative form, pure formless awareness is the perfect love in which I let go of my negative thoughts and emotions you seem to provoke, and then name the person. So actually, that's what you're really doing. They just trigger your ego to come up in the form of negative thoughts and emotions. So they provoke, and now you're letting go of them. So exhale as you do that to help you just release them. Just blowing it all away, letting it all go. And finding a sense of release and peace. The idea is if we forgive others, and finally we must concede that if all of them deserve forgiveness, when we must as well. So the lesson can bring a real emotional release as we forgive ourselves for wrongdoing we didn't realize we were still carrying. The purpose of this phase of the exercise is to put you in a position to forgive yourself, i.e., forgiving yourself means to let go of your own negative thoughts and emotions, and thereby your separate self-concept or ego. So apply the idea to anyone who comes to mind. Just say, God is the love in which I forgive you, name, or pure formless awareness is the perfect love in which I let go of my negative thoughts and emotions you seem to provoke. And then name the person. And exhale, let it go. and devote the remainder of the practice period to adding related ideas, such as God is the love with which I love myself, or an alternative form, pure formless awareness is the perfect love with which I love myself, capital self. Or God is the love in which I am blessed. Translated, pure formless awareness is the perfect love in which I am blessed. So breathe in and just breathe in these blessings. Breathe in the love for yourself. Imagine you're giving yourself a big hug. This loving awareness is coming in, you're inviting it into your awareness, into your mind, into your heart, into your energy system. There is only this awareness in truth. You might like to vary the form of the application by saying some other related ideas. So I cannot be guilty because I'm a son of God, for instance. So you breathe in and say that. Cannot be guilty because I'm an extension of perfect love. I'm an innocent extension of perfect love. I've already been forgiven or released. Breathe in on that. And exhale. Just feel a sense of release, freedom. No fear is possible in a mind beloved of God. No fear is possible in a mind that has awareness of perfect love. Translated, if you have this loving awareness, then fear is not possible, because loving awareness is the opposite of fear. In loving awareness, fear doesn't exist. There's no need to attack anyone, because pure formless awareness of perfect love has released me. Because love has forgiven me, or this loving awareness has released me. And the idea is that in this awareness, you're free, you're happy, you're peaceful, you're calm, you're released from the ego's drama, from all of its mental and emotional negativity, which is hell, living a helpless, innovative little life, feeling trapped and enslaved and unfairly treated by other people and the world and life. This is a hellish self-concept and a hellish experience of life. The only way out of that hell, helpless, innovative little life, is to let it go, recognize that it's not true. It's a misperception, a misinterpretation, a false belief in who you are, the source of all that. And actually only pure formless awareness of perfect love is true. Only that is real. That's the only true reality, foundational reality behind all events, circumstances, and experiences in this world is this awareness. So go there right now. Repeat today's idea and say, God is the love in which I forgive, or pure formless awareness is the perfect love in which I let go. Exhale on that enlightened note and just release, let go. Bring your mind into this awareness. We forgive or let go because there's this limitless, unconditional love, this loving awareness in your mind. And this awareness is the basis of all forgiveness or letting go. This is the basis for forgiving others because actually they are this awareness, the basis for forgiving yourself because you are this awareness. There is no need to attack because love has forgiven me, i.e. this loving awareness is still there, just waiting for you to return your awareness to it. It's never being anything else other than what it is. So it's never condemned you or anyone. It simply is loving awareness, and that is eternal. Your only job is to return your mind to that state. Whenever you deny it, when you condemn others, you attack them, you're really attacking yourself. And so what you're really doing then is stimulating an attack back. If you attack them, you're saying, actually attack me back and punish me. So if I have no need to attack and punish myself, then love has forgiven me. Just contemplate these ideas, see the logic of them, the sanity, and the state of mind they bring about when you're feeling loving, happy, peaceful, kind. So just enter into the state fully for a couple of minutes, just to experience the state of loving awareness that you are. This is the love in which you forgive or let go of all negative thoughts and emotions. So experience this state fully, wholly and completely for the next couple of minutes of deep, connected silence. Any thoughts come up, they're still at all attack thoughts, anger, resentment, any fear of anyone related to anyone, just say, God is the love in which I forgive you. Name them, or if you prefer the alternative, pure formless awareness of perfect is the perfect love. Pure formless awareness is the perfect love in which I let go of all the negative thoughts and emotions that you trigger in me. Use whichever form of that is most helpful. Breathe in this loving awareness. Imagine expansive awareness, light, if you visualize light flowing into the darkness, just easing it out, shining it away, and then exhale to help you release it all, blowing it away with the breeze of your breath. It's going, gone. The dark cloud or black smoke, and you just rest in this still, calm, peaceful state of awareness for a couple of minutes of deep silence. Nowhere else to go, nothing else to do. Just breathe, relax, be still. Surrender to this loving awareness, pure formless awareness of perfect love that you really are. Experience that right now for just another minute of blissful silence. So just coming back gently into an awareness of your body and the breath, senses and the world. On the count of three, you're going to open your eyes. So one, just breathing in, noticing how the stomach rises and the chest rises. The subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. And you pause at the top of the inhale and you smile. And you scan your mind, just noticing any thoughts, emotions, related body sensations going on. There's anything that feels unpleasant, limited, contracted, constricted, negative in any way, remind yourself that God is the love in which I forgive, or pure formless awareness of is the perfect love in which I let go of this. Pure formless awareness is the perfect love in which I let go of this. Exhale it out. Count of two, notice how the air flows out. Chest and the stomach suck back in. So letting it all go, releasing. Just feeling the weight of your body pressing down into the chair and your feet touching the ground. Noticing what you're feeling and touching. There's a subtle taste in your mouth, smell in your nose as you breathe in again. Just noticing all these things from this very still, calm, and peaceful place, a place of pure awareness. Notice how peaceful it is when you perceive the world in this way. You're perceiving it from the state of pure formless awareness. No judgment. It's just clean, clear, pure awareness streaming through into all of your perceptions. And this is the way that you live in an enlightened state in this world, being in the world, but not of it. It's what Yeshua called it. That's what this mind training is training your mind to do. So you're going to stay in the state connected to your true awareness, no matter what seems to happen. Use today's lesson and the short breath break that I've given you to top you up through the day. Just 3 minutes, I think it is, to listen and reconnect to your source. So do that frequently to help you stay connected, which is what you intend. Stay in this loving awareness. So it is said, so it is done. And now on the count of three, open your eyes. So just looking at the room around you, the various objects in the room. Notice them in this clear, calm state without judgment. They're all the same. Notice that there's just this loving, peaceful awareness, and there's really nothing else. Close your eyes, feel that awareness. It's still there. It's the same awareness as when you open your eyes. Open your eyes and then around and notice this awareness. Whatever you look at, doesn't matter what the object is, it's all the same. It doesn't matter whether your eyes are closed or open, it's all the same. And because this awareness is all the same. This awareness is your true awareness, and it's always there. It's always been there and always will be there. It's the ground of being, without which you would have no life at all. So this is the awareness these lessons are connecting us to. And I hope this meditation and practice of the lessons done that. So that brings us to the end of the meditation and the session today. Short session, but a good one. So thank you, Elaine. And I'll send you. I'll send you.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah, I'll send you. There's a recording of the
Right.
discussion that we had on the text. So it's about 2 hours, if I recall. You can always find it in the documents. So let me just show you into this one where we. That didn't seem to be there. Sweet. Okay, so into chapter 7. There we go. So in the little intro to it,
Oh,
you'll
yes.
see that. Or you can listen to a discussion on this section by right-clicking on tapping here.
Yeah.
If you click that link, it will open up to the point in the session where we did it. So I'll just show you. Make a selection, right? Control, click, and then it'll open up. Which is the lesson. That was the wrong one. So that was silly. It's this one, discussion on this section. So click. So that's David Hoffmeister reading it.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the discussion. For chapter 3. On feelings, the recognition of truth. Yeah. So there's quite a few hours. Shortly. Yeah. So there you can listen to the whole session if you want to.
Yeah.
Instead of doing live. Okay. So it's always in that document if there is one. But I'll also post the audio recording onto the Telegram. Truth.
Yeah.
All right.
That's great. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. See
you
you soon.
See you tomorrow. Yeah. Should we do afternoon? What's tomorrow? Is tomorrow Friday?
Yeah. I think
Thursday?
so.
Is it Thursday?
It's Friday tomorrow.
He's in track. Yeah. It's Friday. Yeah.
Thursday today.
You okay for an afternoon session?
I think so. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
1 o'clock.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. See you then.
Yep. See you then. Bye.
Thanks, Elaine.
Namaste.
Bye. All right, so that's a wrap for today. Thank you to Elaine for joining the session. If you enjoyed this and you'd like to participate in these sessions, you can do that by going to theaolg.com. It's theaolg.com. You'll find the link below. Sign up to our masterclass. Join one of these live calls. You can also go to lifebuild.com. You can see that on the screen in the background. lifebuild.com to get some of the material I shared up front, the daily quote and the lesson from the course, as well as a short mini meditation to help you practice the lesson sent to you via Telegram. So just go and sign up with your mobile number that you use for Telegram to get that information. And then finally, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel and if you enjoy this, then please subscribe to the channel. And you'll be notified whenever I go live, which is typically 6 days a week. You'll get this notifications from YouTube, so you can watch the live stream or recording. So hope you take the next step. Hope to catch you on the inside soon. And wishing you much peace, love, and joy. Namaste, which means the true self in me acknowledges and honors that same true self, Christ in you. Peace.